Hi viewers, we're back with another episode from Break Free. You can find us at Break Free Stipend SA, the podcast where we to go into the business world, promote business, lifestyle motivation, and inspire people. Please like and subscribe and also comment because that is helping us, me and my team, to give you guys more valuable content. Um, yes, guys, I have a wonderful entrepreneur lady here today with us, Jacqui Metter, who is a assisting specialist business who's also giving, yeah, business is all about giving um, caregiving, transport, and compassion. But let me not talk a lot about it. Tell the viewers more about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jacqui Metter. First and foremost, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, and I am here a divorcee as well as a widow. Why I started this thing is more to come light is I am all for caring. I love to care for others, and that is my ultimate goal.
But yeah, before we get into the business side, we're gonna go back into a past a bit, not too deep, but where she grew up, where did you go school?
Okay, I was born and raised by a minister. My dad is a minister, late by now. My mom is still alive. Out in Atlantis, as everybody know, Atlantis was a very poverty side of a place. It was called Atlantis Makamo Flinters. So I was born and raised here, and then obviously went to my primary school at Grosvenor Primary. From Grosvenor Primary, went to Saxony Secondary. Then I went to UWC, where I started my career in teaching. And from there onwards, I just decided teaching wasn't for me after a couple of years of teaching. And then I met my darling husband, who was like over the age of my age. Not to go too much into it, but my love for elderly people started there. And
Okay.
that was 30 years ago.
So you were practicing with your late
I
husband.
was practicing completely, but at the same time, it was rewarding.
Okay.
And that is how I find my passion in life.
Just a question. You were talking like, because I wanted to still answer some of the questions, but she was just going through
Okay, you
everything.
can ask those questions.
Um, I want to know, how was university life for you?
Yo, coming from Atlantis and had to travel every day to UWC, it was quite tough. Because when you come from the side of the world and you go into that territory of student life, it was difficult. You don't have money, you can't afford to pay for everything. That was hard. And being there, your motivation is you want to succeed, you want to get that degree, you want to
Okay.
get somewhere in life. And that was ultimately how it was for me when I was back then in the days.
So after university, what was your first job?
Yo, there I had a bit of a hiccup because I ultimately started wanting to do human resources,
Okay.
and then I became a human resources. But human resources for me at the time was, sorry to say, but the apartheid years was then, so obviously we didn't get jobs in our field where we wanted to, and therefore I had to move along to the next step, which was into teaching. Teaching was much better. I could live myself out with the kiddos, and that was fine. Even though in the beginning I didn't have a degree in teaching, then I had to
Okay.
go and study further to get that. But basically, because my credits that I had made it possible for me to become a teacher in the end, and that's
Okay.
where I then ended up.
What was in your experience over at the time when you had your work, like one of your toughest days in your industry or when you in your work environment?
I'm gonna give you a breakdown though, because of human resources. My toughest industry was the textile industry at the time. There was too much competitors, and in
Mm.
Atlantis there was fact jobs wasn't always there. And being a human resources in the same place, living in the same place where you work is a bit of an odd thing when it comes to human resources, because people just try to think you're there to nail them and not have their job done and all of that. But that was the downfall when it comes to human resources. Then for teaching, teaching is a very proactive job where you can make sure another child or a human being is the first step that you give them, because I was a grade
Okay.
4 teacher. And for me, that was the whole setup in teaching in those days were you had to work, and you literally had to spoon feed children to get to where they are
Okay.
today. And that time, the children didn't have to use calculators and stuff. So it was an endless problem to try and get a child to
Okay.
understand, okay, this is what you need to do and that's what you need to do. But in the end, it was also rewarding when you see, like today, I see children that I came through my hands
Mm.
that actually lives in Bali, who's
Okay.
doctors, who's teachers, and it's very, very great to see that rewarding factor now coming back to me.
Yeah, it's quite a big mouthful.
Yeah.
But now we came down to this now. Where was the moment where you decided, the break free moment where you decided, no, I'm gonna go into this is the industry I want to, or where I want to
Okay,
start my
being
business.
being married to an elderly person, first of all, made me realize all the institutes we visited. Being elderly, you have to take them to the doctor. You have to make sure that they get nourishment. So they got all the different settlements to go to within a hospital setup. Where
Okay.
I'm talking about is like these different specialists to see. People has got they diabetic. Some of them are just fail because of old age. Some of them kids are leaving them just like that without having proper care. That got to me because every person that I care for at this moment, I've got 17 people that I'm looking after in a space of just opening in a month time. I just literally opened a
Yeah.
month ago. I done my registration to the social department. I'm waiting now for my feedback on the non organizational registry that I've done because it's an NGO. So now I'm waiting for that. But however, but I am practicing. And I've done my home-based care nursing.
Okay.
I've done that as well. So now I've got that little chirp on my back, which makes it possible for
Mm.
me to go even deeper into it. What this said is that I love people and I love the elderly. I care for the elderly like it's
Mm.
my own parents. I literally my business isn't being advertised. You guys are going to be the first podcast that I've ever been on, and and literally I made business cards and flyers through the elderly that is doing it for me. I
Okay.
didn't pay for any of that. God is very good for me in this business. I didn't think I was going to go
Mm.
this way, but it was more a case of, if you do good to others, that's what I want
Yes.
to encourage people. I'm not a church goer person. I'm not a person that goes to church, but honestly, if you believe and trust that what God has put you on earth to do,
Mm.
that's what He's gonna bless you with. Because I've been blessed. I've been blessed with a car for my business. Within last week, I got a new car from a
Yeah.
lady. I'm busy having it branded. I'm not paying for anything because every client that I attend to
Mm.
feels the need to bless me with something. And that is why I've now done this now as a bigger business. It's actually
Okay.
growing because I can't do 17 people on my own.
Mm.
So I've kind of like given the work out to some other carers that I know or people that is looking for jobs.
Mm.
It's also means and ways of paying it forward
Yes.
because I'm not going to be for there forever, but it's nice to make sure that somebody else can also grow on and on
Mm.
and on in the same business.
Yeah. So how did it come to the name of the business?
Okay. Literally, my name is not yet being posted on anything because I've just done it as an individual person, as
Okay.
me. However, at the registry with the social department, I've made it into Gentle Giants Care, which
Okay.
means the giant I'm referring to every elderly person out there. Because they once were a baby, they became a giant,
Mm.
they had their careers, they had their life, and they now a giant. But that giant
Mm.
needs care. So
Yes.
therefore, it's gentle giant key.
Yeah, it's the same like when you grow up, you get big, but as you go out, you need help again as a child
Correct.
because
Correct.
you can't certain stuff you can't do properly. You need a bit of help here and there, and
Yeah.
that is just where we as younger generation also need to take care because at some point they did care for
Yeah.
us as well.
Yeah.
Um, how does your day to day process look like?
Wow. At the moment, because I'm doing it as I'm trying to do it different from just being a carer or like having a care setup and have a facility. I'm a mobile caregiver.
Okay.
So I go to my clients. So I've got a client literally every 2 hours with
Yeah.
with an hour space. So what I do is, it's either a client that needs nappy changing because
Mm.
we all know we've got clients who's in the middle class, we've got clients in our high end side, we've got clients who's very low and can't afford
Mm.
the caregiving because what the agencies normally does is they have a business and they employ carers, so there's a cut and the middle person needs to get paid
Yes.
out of that. Where with me, it's not a means of ways of getting paid for the job, but it's more making sure that for the hour I'm doing exactly what the client needs. So it's not that I'm going to work for the whole 5 hours and sit there and I just literally had to give pills and I have to give this and I'm doing it extra. I'm trying to give more
Okay.
for less. At the same time, the whole idea was for me to be helpful. It's not about getting a sum of money into my hands.
Yes.
That wasn't the whole purpose of it. But like I say, my day is I go to a client at 8, I finish a client at 10. Then I have an hour break driving to wherever I need to. And I do all areas. I don't just do my area where I currently reside in, Durbanville. I don't just do Durbanville. The biggest bulk of my clients at the moment is Sea Point. So I drive to Sea Point regularly every day and then Brackenfell. So it's wherever God takes me, I go. And then on top of it, I do different rates also because, like I said, we've got a high end client, we've got a middle class, and I'm coming from Atlantis. I want to give back to Atlantis people as well. So therefore, I'm saying, and Atlantis people can't afford it. Look, we're far away from everything, so everybody charges you $1 million to get from where you are. So therefore, I'm saying I'm going according to what the person needs, and if I can do a little bit of extra, I do that.
Yes. Yo, that's you have a busy day. How's your schedule looking?
I finishes most of the time at 9
Yo,
at the evening, and I start at 7.
yo, it's a full working schedule.
Yeah, but it's
Um,
rewarding.
how do you attract your clients? Like your marketing, how do you do that? Is it
Like I said in the beginning, guys, you guys are the first people. Break free is actually giving me the break free because I haven't done any marketing. All I've done is word of mouth so far. Every client that I've ever received was somebody knew me and my work is actually perceiving me at the moment because every person that has dealt with me in a work environment, caring for somebody, those are talking to other people and that's how I got. And I've got literally 7 reviews already, and it's very well hearing how good people talks about the person.
um and if you can tell our viewers, as a business owner, what did you learn now that you would have learned or that you wanted to know earlier?
I definitely think what I would have wanted to know earlier is that not every person has got an imagination. And I didn't realize that somehow in my imagination, I wanted to make that imagination become a reality.
Yeah.
And because if I can put it to you like this, somebody had an imagination that there needs to be a car.
Yes.
Somebody somewhere had imagination and now we can't drive anymore, we need to fly. So that's how your thing becomes to life. And if I can say to somebody out there, if you had a dream or if you have an image in your head of what you would like to do one day, don't ever let it fall through because that is what somebody else needs, and your dream can come alive through you, not through somebody else, through you.
Do you have any mentors or role models that help you through that journey?
Yeah. First of all, my creator God, that's the first person I would like to say was a role model and is a role model because I believe in God and I believe in what God says in His Word. He is faithful and is true. And then the second person that I would love to was obviously my late husband because he's the one that made it possible for me to care and see what is inside of me. Because I need to realize that I am good enough to care for somebody else. Firstly, taking care of myself. Then thirdly is a lady called Anslin, and she is from social development. She pushed me. She said to me, I've always told her, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to care, but I don't know how to start. And she's the one who's literally been by my side telling me, Jacqui, you know what? You come to my office, come see this, come do this. And I've done a bit of homework by going to different social departments. I'm working with Badisa. I'm filtering in about looking at what is the elderly aspect and what is children's aspect because that's another part that I would like to go into. But as I say, these are the 3 main people in my life. And then lastly, my dad, who's late, who always believed in me no matter what. And then my family. I've got two beautiful daughters, and I've got grandchildren, and they're the ones that's keeping me going as much as I can.
Keeping you alive.
They're keeping me alive on my toes.
Um, just tell the viewers, like, I want to know, because I'm sitting here and listening to all this. How do you keep up with your discipline?